Hello and welcome to a brand new live edition of the Five Heart Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Mahochko. Joining me as always. Wait, this is not right. Hold on.
What is
there we go.
Right? What?
That guy.
Oh.
That guy up there, the man upstairs with the beard and the robe. You know him. Hey, he is the creator of all of this.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, John Dam Johnston, founder, fearless leader. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm certainly not in another browser window trying to get somebody onto the stream.
We are definitely we are definitely waiting for our guest.
Look, it's our hero.
Well, I don't know about hero. We'll just go with guest. And we welcome you all joining us live, but our special guest live from his basement. I don't know.
Okay.
From coronation.com, formerly of the of Bangerangs and Daggers podcast, now defunct. It was officially the number 2 podcast of its time on Coronation. Coronation writer Patrick Gerhardt. Patrick, welcome back to the show, man.
Thanks for inviting me. Glad to be back.
May the force be with you.
And also with you, Greg.
With you.
Yeah, there you go. I have my Jedi robe on.
We're just happy you have any clothes on, because you messaged me about 8:45 and said, I guess I better put clothes on.
Who said that?
You did.
Yeah, I kind of did, didn't I?
I mean, I can show the good people the chat message.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Nobody needs that.
Speaking of Star Wars, our first comment of the night, by the way, hello Cornborn Mike, hello Owen Walker, but Fred Sacco says, saw Return of the Jedi in theater last night, special edition with Darth Vader laying on his side in the cold saying all hope is gone. Fuck everything, go big empire.
That's awesome.
I bet he did a lot of when he was saying that.
How's everybody going? What's new in your guys' worlds this week?
Getting warmer out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now,
That's
Patrick.
it? That's it?
That's all I got.
My God, you didn't come up with some kind of bizarre freaking Ingrid Bergman quote or something?
We'll get there.
No, I've been banned from doing that, remember?
Terrell Farley's
yes.
Taint says, no Tweedy tonight. It's important to note, Tweedy was going to be on the show. It's also his birthday tonight, so he's out celebrating with his family and being a husband and dad. So he got the week off. He'll be back next week. We apologize to the Taint and to everybody.
By the way, I'm really happy you guys brought Tweety back. That's awesome.
It is. He's a great addition. He's a not an interesting dynamic, because that makes it sound like less than, but he's a great addition to the show, and he brings a unique perspective. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, definitely.
I like it.
You're the straight man, and now you got 2 wild cards.
I like Tweety because he's even more disgusting a person than I am.
I don't know.
He can get away with it more.
He can.
I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if anybody's more crazy than you, John. Owen says 83 degrees in Lincoln today. Mm-hmm. Patrick, I know that warming up's not all you got going on. I don't know how much I'm at liberty to share, but you've got a whistle, and you're out doing some coaching. What's going on there?
Oh, yeah. I'm coaching my son's coach pitch baseball team. 6 years old, having fun. Half the team trying to learn how to throw, the other half trying to learn how to catch, and everybody's trying to learn how to hit. It's a lot of fun.
My oldest is 7 and did the coach pitch last year and may have to go back to that. He's at technically machine pitch, which I don't know what the machine is in your neck of the woods. And I definitely remember what the
next year, I guess.
Right. I remember what it was. I remember the machine was, you have to plug it in. It has to have a power source. Has the 2, spinning wheels, and the ball goes in, it shoots out, and it's pretty consistent every time. But what this contraption they have in this particular league is almost like a catapult. They put the baseball in place, they step down on a foot pedal, and then they pull a pin, and it kind of launches the ball towards home plate, which is, I guess it's good to keep the hitters guessing, but a few times at practice the ball went behind my son, and he looked at me. I said, I wouldn't swing at that. You did good. So coach pitch is fun. Little League is fun.
It is. It's education, not just for the kids, but also for the coaches.
I tell you, I don't have the patience to be a coach. I'm very appreciative and supportive of the coaches that we have. I told him one time, and my boy's been fortunate. He's on a team with a lot of kids from his class, and he's played soccer with them. The guy was a coach last year, so there's a lot of familiarity there. And I told the coach, I said, man, with this group of kids, I said, it's like herding cats. He's like, yeah. So I was like, no,
it is.
Thank you for what you do. I couldn't do it. Fred says, the thing Greg just described sounds like our offense the last 5 years. It is. It's a lot of YOLO bomb arm punts from the from the pitching machine. And Fred also said it was great weather in Omaha. Worked in the yard today. Sweated harder than our former head coach waiting out a paternity suit.
Wow.
There's no fan base whatsoever.
I am glad that my kids all played soccer.
Is that because they like hand-eye coordination?
My son's going to pull this recording up, in 10 years when he finds out I used to do this type of thing. But I was in about 10 minutes of a soccer game with my son last year, and all I can think of is, man, I hope next year he plays flag football.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, soccer for kids, young kids, is just scrum ball, and all you do as a coach is pretty much guide them around the field. And, as they get to 8 or 9, 6, 7, 8, 9, you slowly start teaching them more specifics of the game. One thing I liked about it is that I would talk to the baseball coaches around me and note that no parents ever gave me any crap whatsoever about the way I coach soccer, even when they got into the teens. And the baseball guys were getting crap all the time from parents about they're doing this wrong and they're doing that wrong. And
most parents know how baseball works. At least in America, I would say a vast majority of parents do not know how soccer works, myself included. So
you run, you kick a ball. It's not that difficult.
That's true.
Yeah, and then you get older and you start flopping.
And then you become LeBron James, and you make a career out of it.
Hey, making a run in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I am glad that I live in Minnesota, and when parents would ask me, what is this offside crap in soccer? And I would reply, it is a moving blue line. And they would go, oh, okay.
Yeah, just reference hockey. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and they all understood it, and I didn't have to explain it after that. Okay.
John Lasso.
Fred says that, John, you'd make a great soccer coach, and you were a great soccer coach.
Yeah.
John Lasso, not sure what's going on, but pretty full of shit.
I feel like John would be a mixture between Coach Beard and who's the
Roy Kent. Roy Kent.
Roy Kent, yeah. I feel like he'd be a mixture of those two.
I can see.
Philosophical, but really angry.
John, are you up to speed on Ted Lasso?
No.
All right. You need to, I'll tell you what, at the end of this third season, you just need to get like the trial version of Apple TV. Like maybe they'll give you like 3 months at half price.
I think somebody in my house has Apple TV.
Exactly. And then just watch it and you'll know exactly what we're talking about and be like, I'll say this, it is a phenomenal show across the board. It's one of my favorite shows.
Is it a feel-good show, Greg?
It definitely has some feel-good moments. It has some heart and humor, and a lot of cussing. So it's the John Johnston of TV shows: heart, humor, and cussing.
Greg, you enjoying the season?
It's growing on me. It is.
Okay. I've just had a lot of feedback of a lot of people not liking it. I've enjoyed it, but I've always just taken it for what it is, and I think they're trying to make everything end in a nice, tight, clean bow.
Because I know they said that it was largely going to be 3 seasons. Like they only had it like arced out for 3 seasons.
3 seasons, but it sounds like they're open to offshoots and stuff like that. So
that'd be all right. Fred with a great one here, referencing the show and our beloved leader. He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. Johnston.
We can't sing. Oh my God! Just 11 minutes. 11 minutes of witty banner.
That's fine.
John, why is it? Is it?
This isn't
it is the off season.
It's the off season.
Not that witty.
It is the off season. It's really deep into the off season too. It's May 4th.
I like the person's name.
May the 4th.
Farley's taint. That's just.
He's been around before.
He has. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, shall we get into some of the news and notes and things like that?
Yes.
Shorzy is a vastly superior programming.
And then we can
okay,
we can veer back to odd, horrible things.
I would not say Shorzy is a vastly superior is vastly superior programming. It is just vastly different. How's that?
I'm a big fan of both. I like Letterkenny.
I love Shorzy. Love Shorzy.
I'm excited for season 2 of Letterkenny.
John's feeling left out. That's why he's getting cranky. He's not being brought into this conversation.
You know what? I beat Forbidden West last night. That's what I did.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, see, that's just it.
No clue.
Casey Thompson, John.
Yes.
Didn't see that one coming.
Well, no. Not really. Kind of a shock to everybody. But it shouldn't have been that big a shock.
Well, here's why I didn't see it coming. Because not that he had a bad season last year, he didn't. And a lot of things that you and Todd mentioned this past week on John and Todd's Monday Night Therapy, it's just not. I'll tell you why it wasn't expected, because he's coming in essentially cold to with no off season to now a new program, and no ability to acclimate. I don't know. Do you guys think that was a transfer portal addition that was generated by player or by staff?
Casey Thompson?
Yes.
Well, I think it probably was a sit down, have an honest conversation with your coach, and probably not get the answers that you want. We had Monday night I did a different show. I did the Voice of College Football Monday night, and another Nebraska fan. I made the point that I thought it was because of nil, that he's out looking for more nil money. And another Nebraska guy came on and argued with me that he was told he wasn't going to be number 1 and didn't like it. So, we all have these, my best friend works in the athletic department, as a plumber.
Oh, everybody's got one of them.
Yeah. So
well, here's another thing. He's still coming off that surgery.
Right.
So who knows how that recovery is going? We're not going to know. I don't care what rumors say. We're not going to know exactly how that recovery is going whatsoever. It might be taking longer. He might be looking for an offense that's more up his alley than what we're changing to, because it is a change in offense, not what he came here for. In a way, I don't think anybody's would be surprised if he did leave. If he did do just one and done in Nebraska. There wasn't a whole lot of promise of anything beyond the first year with Scott Frost when he got here. So,
yeah, compare him to Hunter Dickinson.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that.
Well, I don't know if everybody else does.
Okay.
Hunter Dickinson is Michigan's big guy. What, he's there 4 years? 4 years?
3 years, and now he's heading to Kansas.
Yes, it is Kansas. And I think you looked at Hunter Dickinson and say, well, he's going to be a starter at Michigan. He's going to play a lot. He's going to have possibility of setting records, I suppose. And he still left. And why did he leave?
Because he
tried to win a championship.
Better program, better coach.
He did in this case.
Desperately needed a big man. That was Kansas's number one problem this past year. Is they did not have their traditional, big man in the paint.
And what else do you think happened? What else do you think happened there?
At Michigan?
Yeah, Hunter Dickinson is not going to be an NBA player. Or he's not going to be a high, you know what I mean? He's not a first-round draft pick in the NBA.
KU is also probably going to pay NIL money that Michigan's not.
Right. So Hunter Dickinson went out and said, where in the hell can I get a bunch of money that I'm not going to get in the NBA? Because the reality is his career is going to be in Europe, most likely. Right?
Probably, yeah. I could see him starting in the D League, and maybe if he develops a little bit more there, jumping up. But
and you can still go to Europe and make $400,000 or $500,000 a year in his situation. You just can't make millions.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna do we're gonna invert. I'm saying this. I'm phrasing it this way on purpose. We're gonna make a Fred Sacco sandwich with some comments because Terrell Farley's taint says, I think Casey was interested in the Auburn job, but we stand a good chance to get him back since Thorne went there. And Fred says, I still think / hope that Casey Thompson's testing the waters. Still think he'd acclimate quicker here than elsewhere, like in Auburn. And then we're back to Terrell Farley's taint that says, in ultimate Nebraska nut kick pain style, he, meaning Casey Thompson, might go to MSU and beat us this year.
Well, nobody's beating us this year.
No, 15-0.
It's May the 4th.
Hey, you know what? You got to let the force be your guide, all right?
Yeah.
My computer just did weird things. I'll say this. At this point, he came in as a stopgap. Like he did the job that essentially we, asked him to do, which was come in and play quarterback and help the team. And, one more loss than the previous year. One more win, than the previous year. We progress. We got to take that. But I'll say this, and I'll reiterate the words that John and Todd said Monday night. If you haven't caught that show, you can catch it on YouTube. You can catch the video version on YouTube and Facebook for sure, as well as the audio podcast. But Ajay Allen was one that I think hurts more than Casey Thompson.
No.
I don't think
really.
No. We need depth at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have good running backs. I know Todd said that he thought Ajay Allen was the best running back.
A lot of people said that. Yeah.
I think he said his second favorite after Gabe Ervin, but
well, close enough. He said he'd give up Ramir Johnson for him.
Yeah. Here's what you got to remember: running backs anymore are basically treated like cannon fodder. So we just need depth, and we need good depth, and he would have added to that. Very rarely do you get like a Saquon Barkley.
True.
You know what I mean? Like those guys are rare. Usually 10, 15, 20 years ago, you had a dozen of them throughout the league, throughout college football. Every conference had 2 or 3 backs that were just phenomenal athletes, bruisers that could play 2/3 of the game. You don't have that anymore, so.
But the difference being the two is Casey Thompson has 1 year left of eligibility. Ajay Allen has 4 years of eligibility. So you have the opportunity for a new staff to come in and actually develop a young talent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think Ajay Allen would have been, if given the choice between the two, and I'm not trying to disrespect Casey Thompson if he's listening, which I'm sure he is. But I think you have to go with youth in this case, and who could help you out further down the line, because Matt Rule's, while we're going to go 15-0, run the table, national champions, we're also building a program for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, the offensive line under Matt Rule and this new coaching staff is going to be so good that I could make 5 yards a carry.
They looked a little light on the spring game, but I thought the entire team looked a little light. So hopefully they can put on some weight this summer.
Oh, the line, you mean?
The line looked a little thin. In terms of size, they looked a little thin. But I thought everybody on that during the spring game did. So
we've got some comments that I'm so Scott Wesseman, if I'm getting that right, I hope I am, says Allen was a bigger hit than Casey, young kid who could compete this season. By the way, I'm not just highlighting the ones that agree with me. I know that's what it's going to seem like. Owen says Ajay Allen could have been all Big Ten.
This is
Fred
all what
says,
too. I mean,
of
like
course.
that's another thing with Casey Thompson. We knew exactly what we were getting, and we knew what his peak was. Ajay Allen, I mean,
speculative.
It's all speculative, which is great, but
Fred says, nah, he's disagreeing with me and aligning with you guys. AJ super talented, but need quarterback depth. We're not our former HC with depth at Boomers and other assorted houses of ill repute. Thanks, Fred. And that does seem to be. We also, I don't think, anticipated losing that many quarterbacks that fast. 3 quarterbacks in 8 days?
Yeah, I want to say. Yeah.
But I'll say this: it makes you feel like they know something we don't. So maybe the coaching staff
they know that the quarterback in Nebraska under Matt Rule's and Satterfield's new offense is just going to be like a game manager. He doesn't have to be the center of everything because we're going to run the ball successfully. We're going to have fullbacks. We're going to have H-backs moving around. We're going to have 4 tight ends on the field. I don't know what that means if the quarterback can't throw him the ball, but I could throw passes under this new offense. That's what I'm saying.
Scott says, I think it's best for him to leave, meaning Casey. He's a grad transfer with 1 year. Better for him to go since it looks like his spot is likely to go to Rule's guy. Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm appreciative of his time here. It was great to have him in a Husker uniform for the amount of time that we had. Sucks that he's leaving, but, as long as he stays, go out to the Pac-12. I don't care about the schools in the Pac-12. Go out there and have some fun and kick the crap out of Colorado. So, speaking of all my optimism for the future, Terrell Farley's Taint says, I got hotel reservations in the playoff cities already, so they're down with 15-0. Fred says 15-0, 20-0. We'll run the table and beat several XFL teams. And if you don't believe that, you're a no-good Tavern Hawkeye.
What's a Tavern Hawkeye?
I don't know. I was about to ask the same question, but I chuckle because I don't want Fred to hate me.
It's got to be
that
bad.
It's the guy with the Hawkeyes on my belly. That's the Tavern Hawkeye.
That was Todd, right? Todd's from Iowa.
He is, but he's not a Hawkeye, and he'd probably kill you if we were standing here in person. He'd fall on you. He used to be a wrestler. That used to be a wrestler. He'd get his hands on you, and you'd be a pretzel before you know it.
Okay.
Owen says,
for some reason, geriatrics don't scare me.
Wow.
Owen Walker says, okay, quarterback depth, cool, but Casey saw how the QB ran in between the tackles. He had just had surgery and thought, or don't think he wants to go through that again. If anything, bring Smothers back. John, I know you're a big fan of Logan Smothers.
That'd be okay if he came back. I mean, he'd give you things.
I love Logan Smothers. That guy fought. He's a good talent. But the last 2-3 years, the offensive was not conducive to him. Like he should have left a couple years ago for his own good. He should have gone to a school that his talents would have been better utilized at. Like honestly, for his own sake.
No, I don't disagree. I think it was. I think we were all excited. I was very excited for Logan Smothers. Getting a kid out of Nick Saban's backyard, making a big recruiting steal there. But then you don't use him. You never use him except in like the worst situations. You never put the young man in a position to succeed. You always feel like he's just kind of set up for failure. If anything, it sucks that he left. But if he was going to leave, you're right, Patrick. I think he should have left 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, he came here because of our previous quarterback coach. He's the one who recruited him. He's the one who brought him here. The quarterback whisperer. what was his name? Cigar chomping guy, really cool guy. I liked him a lot, but he didn't.
Mario Verduzco.
Verduzco, yeah. Like once he
Yeah.
left, I didn't see the point. I mean, he must have had a girlfriend here or something. I don't know.
Let's be honest. The fact that anybody at all stayed playing Nebraska football the last 2 years, it's pretty amazing that they stayed. Anybody with any talent whatsoever should have just ran out of Lincoln, Nebraska last year. They honestly should have.
Even Nelson, who is the most Nebraska kid ever from Scotts Bluff, who bled this state like none other, even he, after 3 years, was 4 years. Is it 4 years? I think it was 4 years.
4 years.
Even after 4 years, he's like, yeah, I got to move on. You know.
Yeah. I can't imagine how exhausting that was.
And honestly, that's what a lot of that probably comes down to. You get worn out. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember college, but I remember by the time I was a senior and I didn't play sports, you're just kind of done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the way I felt my seventh year, I was really tired of being there.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you're there for so long, you're just like, I need to change the scenery. I need to do something.
Right.
You know, like I need to do something, and like, yeah.
Now Scott has the good point. Just because they went to the portal does not mean they won't come back. So something to think about, especially with Smothers and some defense guys. Also, Stephen Wynn, right? The defensive lineman, also in the transfer portal. I don't disagree. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but there's something like thousands of players enter the transfer portal every year, and most of them don't find a new home.
Mm-hmm. If anything, they go down. Like they go like group of 5 or FCS is what they end up doing. Which is honestly, and that's what people don't talk about. Like a lot of those FCS schools could really get some steals. You know,
I think the problem with any of
worry about FCS schools getting rated by the bigger schools, but it goes the other way too.
Matt Hansen with a good point, John. I think something that you mentioned after Riley and the last coach, it's amazing we still have a team at all. And then Garrett Nelson got brought up as well, and Terrell Farley's taint. I'm just going to always say that entire name because it makes me laugh on the inside. Garrett Nelson got some bad info from a scout/agent. I don't disagree, especially when you look at the fact that he went undrafted. And sure, he had 11 offers and he chose Miami. But if you're going to leave your home team that you grew up wanting to play for, you damn well better get drafted, right?
You would think.
Well, it's that change of pace thing. I mean, maybe just he burned himself out to the point I can't do this anymore here.
Well, he went just about as far away, culture wise as it could, going to Miami. So,
what the problem with the guys coming back is we don't have scholarships for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're 6 over now. Is that right? Something like that.
Is it?
And the portal's closed, so guys can't go anywhere right now.
They can go in and come back out, right?
If they've got to already be in there, I think, and then they can come out. But nobody can go into the portal right now.
Right.
I'm waiting for Fred to jump on that with a former HC comment. But Fred has an actual football-related comment here. Says, Smothers actually looked fine versus Iowa till our second half coaching took over. Love to get him back here. So
he's not wrong.
We have some other comments as I get to them here. We'll get to that one, Terrell Farley's taint. That's a good topic to bring up. Blaine Cole says it's Golden Week here in Japan. How about some nuggets from the current state of Big Red football?
What is Golden Week in Japan? Yeah, Blaine? What is Golden Week in Japan?
Hold on, I'm gonna Google it, see if I can.
Are you?
You know what? I hope Terrell Farley finds this guy.
Golden Week is a week from April 29th to early May containing multiple Japanese holidays. it's also known as something I can't pronounce.
Try it.
The 4 holidays are, I'm probably going to mispronounce these, Showa Day, Constitution Day, Greenery Day, and Children's Day from April 29th to May 5th. So.
Okay, cool.
So there's just a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
It's a very busy time in Japan.
So, like, what do they do? What do they do, Greg?
Well, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica,
you're not wikiing
I have
it?
no idea.
Okay. Right.
I went.
Showa Day honors the birthday of Emperor Showa Hirohito, the reigning emperor from 1926 to 1989. That's a long time to be a reigning emperor. So Hirohito was obviously
a lot of changes happened under him.
Yeah,
good and bad.
So I guess they celebrate Hirohito, which I'm not okay. Constitution Memorial Day takes place on May 3rd in celebration of the enactment of the 1947 Constitution of Japan,
That
which
we wrote.
We kind of did.
Yeah.
In which they really don't have a military anymore.
Because of that. I think that's kind of changing, though. Anyway.
Are you saying that we need to be on alert?
No, I think China needs to be on alert.
Yeah. Greenery Day stems from the celebration of the birthday of the Emperor Showa Hirohito. Wow.
This is a fun time.
I didn't know they liked this guy that well. And then Children's Day is Children's Day for crying. It takes place annually on May the 5th and is the final celebration in Golden Week. Day set aside to respect children's personalities and to celebrate their happiness. Do you celebrate your children's happiness? Maybe you could do that. Maybe everybody could do that tomorrow for May 5th.
When they're asleep.
Yeah. When the house is quiet.
Quiet, like right now.
It's a good time.
The current state, Blaine, of Nebraska football is hopeful. There you go. If you want to put it in one word.
We've been saying that for 20 years.
Yeah, but we're winning the off season. Come on, you can just do it. You can just do it.
I feel like Colorado's winning the off season for once.
No, they're not. They're losing miserably. They are losing miserably.
Who did you say? Colorado?
Yeah, dude. They're getting all the attention this offseason.
Timeout, because we're going to address that because you were supposed to be here last week and you passed out, so we're going to get there.
I fell asleep.
But Terrell Farley, passed out, fell asleep, tomato.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrell Farley's taint says, has anyone seen Tweedy and Terrell Farley's taint in the same room at the same time? I'll be honest with you, I've never seen Terrell Farley's taint, and I'm going to keep it that way.
I'll be honest with you. I have seen this guy comment on stuff before, and he's got a point.
No, I don't agree with that at all. Terrell Farley's taint says,
kicking our ass in the offseason. No, because Brian Ferentz is still there, and as long as Brian Ferentz is there, I will be miserable.
Well, with that, I'm going to say that Monday night on our Monday night show, we're going to have hopefully Scott Doctorman from The Athletic to talk about Iowa. So if you want to show up
he's
Monday
good.
night,
I like him.
Yeah, he is. He is very good.
He wrote the Nebraska stuff before Mitch Sherman came on board on The Athletic. He did a good job.
He has taken so much crap from Iowa fans.
What's he defending?
Well, I mean, he just tells the truth, and people get angry about it. Look at all this stuff that they've gone through with Brian Ferentz being there, and the guy stands up and somebody says,
Bartha?
Do you? Yeah, Gary Barta. But Brian Ferentz stands up and somebody asks him out loud at their spring press conference, everybody's frustrated for the offense. Do you have a message for the fans? And his response is, I have no message for the fans. I mean, any adult professional could stand up and just make up something that says, I know that there's a lot of frustration. We're going to work hard this year. We're going to maybe change some things up. We're looking at things, just something other than be a complete petulant ass. Is amazing.
There is no loathing of the fan base coming from him whatsoever. He doesn't hate that fan base.
No kidding. It's a mess.
So, while we're on Iowa briefly, it's definitely not where I want to stay. But Terrell Farley's Taint says, anyone else sick of how everyone's riding Iowa's dick lately based on the Caleb Brown news? McNamara doesn't scare me in the slightest. He should have lost to us in 21. So for those of you who are unaware, Iowa picked up a in-conference transfer portal acquisition in Ohio State wide receiver Caleb Brown, former four-star recruit. That was announced just a couple of hours ago. He was the 13th best receiver in the 2022 class, the second-ranked player from Illinois, and top 80 overall prospect from the 247 composite out of high school.
Former Buckeye is going to be catching passes from a former Wolverine.
I know.
How's that going to work?
Are they going to throw passes?
Brian won't tell us.
Exactly. I don't know. I guess when you mentioned Caleb Brown, I went back and looked up his name and I thought, what in the hell is that guy thinking? Mm-hmm. You're going to transfer in and with the hope that you're going to get the ball thrown your way.
I mean, the only benefit is that you're going to have an offensive line that's going to be blocking.
They had their issues last year. I mean, they weren't
but even
typical.
For them, it was better than most. It was below Iowa standards, but it was still better than most. Unfortunately, there was no way to do anything with the ball, so it was all for naught.
I didn't put two and two together until today. Sam Laporta, got drafted out of Iowa. Right. His hometown is near my hometown. And years back, I was like, why? The name, I never put two and two together. I know Iowa's had other, kids from this area. It's actually the same hometown as Nebraska's very own Tanner Farmer, Highland, Illinois. But it dawned on me that back when I was in terrestrial radio and I was calling high school sports, I actually called some high school girls basketball that I'm guessing was Sam's sister was on the team. I feel like there was a Laporta there, and it's not a big enough town where it'd be a different family. So that's a very non sequitur story of non-relevant issue, but I wanted to share a little tidbit of my life, and I thank everybody for enduring that.
Okay, yeah.
Don't you just love it when you don't think things through?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Patrick.
He's here with the death quotes. That's what he's here for. He's just waiting for my permission to go ahead, release the seventh seal shit. Yeah.
So we got this comment from earlier from Cornborn Mike. What do we think about the new quarterback from Wyoming?
Isn't he going to be? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Nebraska native coming home from Omaha, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Isn't he going to be a tight end?
I don't think he's going to play quarterback.
I think he's going to be cannon fodder, but that's just me.
You've been saying that a lot. Like, what do you have against cannons?
Cannon fodder. The fodder is what I have against. Cannons I like. Fodder is what's going to happen to them. Like
right.
Like he's going to be used like a ragdoll is my guess in practice.
That's
Wyoming was not. I mean, what Mountain West was a bad conference last year, and Wyoming was like in the middle of all that. Like there's not gonna. I would be surprised if he does much.
Scott West,
there you go.
Wesseman says they have him coming in as a tight end. I saw tight end H-back. I mean, there's always a fullback opportunity there, right?
Yes. He could be the next. We might want to know his name. He could be the next Brody Belt.
You had to go there, didn't you, John?
Yeah,
I've had months of peace and quiet without that name haunting me, and you had to go there. That is not the one I wanted. Yeah. Fred asked what I'm drinking tonight, as he's having a Zivik.
What is that?
I don't know. I'm guessing it's a beer. I actually am just doing water tonight, which is probably why I'm off my game. I need. I was gonna say sound bad. I was gonna say I need my beer to get through the show, but I like you guys more. I don't need alcohol to put up with you clowns.
Yeah, he's not just stuck with me, Patrick. That's what he's saying. You know, Casey Thompson and Logan Smothers and Richard Torres are still listed on the roster at the Huskers.com.
Well, they haven't announced they were going anywhere yet.
Ajay Allen is too. You know who's missing is Matt Merker.
Okay, so this next one I got questions on.
Yeah.
This question right now, or this statement,
Which one?
I'm confused.
The highlighted one?
Yeah, he's going to be the white fullback, we are back, baby. And this is from, Terrell Farley's taint.
Yeah, so we're going to have a white fullback again, and so we are back, baby.
Yeah. From Terrell Farley's taint.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna do a little.
Oh my god.
All right, so the I'm probably not gonna be able. It's a Polish beer. It's one of the Zivek brewery is one of the largest breweries and beer producers in Poland. Founded in 1856, the brewery manufactures pale lager with a 5.6% alcohol volume.
With no lights, because nobody can screw in a light bulb.
You know what?
Wow.
Words hurt. Okay, I'm gonna make you take that back.
That is like the oldest dad. Okay, all right, sweet, whatever. All right, deal.
You need to.
That was also the tamest joke I've done all night.
That's true. You've been much meaner to me. All right, are we done talking about Iowa? Can we move on to the team that sucks? I'm sorry, the team that blows. If I do my geography right. All right. Scott says, I'm so glad you're here, Patrick. Colorado is an attention whore. 23 go to the portal after their spring game, plus a likely investigation to come to the new regime for mistreatment of players. Now, Patrick, you were supposed to be on the show last week to discuss / debate Colorado, and as we've established, you fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to defend Coach Prime.
Well, I'm not 100%. I am defending him. But I think it's too early to poo-poo what's going on here. Everybody's kind of basing what is transpired at Colorado on that first video that popped up when he first went there, basically saying, I'm bringing my own players, you guys can pound sand, which most coaches do a little bit more eloquently, but most coaches do that for the most part. And you've got a team that was 1-11 last year. I couldn't even tell you the team that they beat. The previous coaching regime didn't recruit anybody in. Those players, most of them probably shouldn't even be playing Division I football. Okay, so you've got a coach who's got swagger, who's got a recruiting ability, who's proven his recruiting ability, and can bring his own players in to do pretty much how he wants to run the program. Did he do it in a way that the general public likes? No, but I've got a feeling most coaches don't do it that way either. The only difference is Coach Sanders has a microphone and a camera on him 24/7, and that's going to benefit him, I think, in the long run. Which, by the way, I really, really, really don't think Colorado knew what they were getting when they got him. I think they had an idea, and I think they needed to do something because Colorado's been in such a tailspin. I mean, John, you probably remember this. Like the '90s, they were good at football, but like even back then, they said, the joke there was they're an academic institution with a football problem.
Right.
Like they've never had the support from the administration. Their alumni support it to a certain extent, basically when they win, and that's it. They need everything they can get, and Coach Prime will give them the national, even local attention to move things forward. Now, a lot of coaches can come into a program and work in the players they have there, try to make things work out, try to make things easier, but a lot of times that doesn't work. And I think Prime is just basically coming in, going scorched earth. And because of the situation with the transfer portal and the supposed money that they're going to be having and getting, I think this first year will probably be rough. But depending on the coaches he has around him, that's my big question mark. I think he's got some fairly decent ones. Depending on the coaches he has around him, they might be able to develop enough to actually do well in the Pac-12 once UCLA and USC are gone. Because there's going to be a huge vacuum depending on what happens after that. There's going to be a big vacuum. You've got Oregon, you've got Washington. That's kind of it right now. You know what I mean? I mean, like Washington State's still trying to figure things out. Oregon State's good, but they're one of those programs where they're going to have good years, they're going to have bad years. Stanford's got a new coach. Cal's probably going to get a new coach. Arizona State got a new coach. Arizona's kind of figuring their thing out. And then you got Utah. Utah is the other big bad boy. They're probably the more dominant year in and year out, punch you in the face type of a team, which is going to be like the anti-Colorado, it looks like, coming up, which is going to be fun because those two are supposedly new rivals. But I think in the long run, Coach Prime might actually work out, because let's also look back on over the last 10 years, everybody's been saying you're seeing a new type of a head coach, the CEO head coach. Okay, you've got Nick Saban, you got Kirby Smart, you've got PJ Fleck up in Minnesota. They're not always the most well-known tactician, but they bring those guys around them. They get guys around them who can help recruit, though they all are very good recruiters. You got guys around them who can develop that talent. You got guys who can kind of make the day-to-day things run while they look at the big picture from the 50,000-foot view. And if I'm rambling, just tell me to shut the hell up. But Coach Prime is kind of going in that direction. That's kind of what I've seen when he was at Jackson State, his previous stop, is that he is bringing in the people around him who know the ins and outs of the daily game better than him. And I think he's going to have that at Colorado. So, I mean, the big question is, will Nebraska beat him this year? Probably, hopefully. I've said that before, and we've gotten beat by him. Both those 2 years we got beat. Riley's year and Scott Frost's first year, Nebraska should not have gotten beat by him, but they did. Whatever. So, I mean, it'll be a sold-out game. It'll be a big game. But at the end of the day, next year, I don't see them winning a whole lot of games. But I think that's just going to be that 1 year. It would not surprise me if this actually does work out for Deion Sanders.
That was a very good dissertation.
Want to?
It was very good. I'm not going to disagree with you about it. Pretty much everything.
I mean, it's more of just kind of a let's take a open-minded approach to what he's doing there. It's against history. It's against the norm. It's against what most people know, or what they think they know what goes on into a college football program. It's more dog eat dog than people realize. I mean, it's just, the only difference is like Coach Prime's got ESPN right next to him, which is great for that program. Which is, Colorado needs that, but I don't think they're going to know what to do with it in the long run. Though it should benefit them. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens, in the short term, but like long run, it wouldn't surprise me if he turns this into something. I'm not going to say he's going to win a national championship. I don't think that's going to happen, but he doesn't need to. He just needs to do well enough at Colorado for the next opportunity to arise, because he's still at Colorado. He's still in the Pac-12, at least for now. And his ability to get to the college football playoffs is going to be tougher in that conference.
Right.
And that's what he wants. He really just needs to get to a team that'll get him to the college football playoff. And that's either going to be the SEC or the Big Ten, and maybe the Big 12 or ACC, but I would be surprised if he does a lateral move like that.
The Pac-12 just is such a horrible mess. I mean, they have everything that they did. Back when Delaney started BTN and the Big Ten Network, everybody thought he was stupid and an idiot. And, and then Pac-12 tries to come along and do the same shit way after that. And they've made no money whatsoever. They really don't have a very good
They didn't do anything close to what he did.
Right.
They kept everything in house. They did it all
Yeah.
themselves, and they couldn't sell anything because it's an entirely different. The college football is an entirely different beast out there. I feel bad for the Pac-12. I feel bad for their fan bases because
Yeah.
honestly, Pac-12 football used to be fun.
Yeah, it
used
did.
to be innovative. That's where a
Yep.
lot of great coaches came out of. But anymore, it's college football has become so centralized in the Midwest and the South that it's taken the oxygen out of the room for many other parts of the country, and it stinks because I mean there's still good players coming out of the West Coast. The Northeast, like where University of Washington pulls from, that area, it's tough for a lot of coaches to go up there because it's a different part of the country, but there's still great talent up there, and it's but you got to know how to poach from that area. It stinks because like the Pac-12 used to be a lot of fun, used to be really great, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens, I guess.
I want to address a few of the comments and questions here that we have. Matt Hansen says, did Colorado beat us back-to-back years with different coaches? The answer to that question is yes. Mike McIntyre beat us in 2018, which was Scott Frost's first. Frost went 0-2 against Colorado.
Riley. No, Riley's last year he got beat by Colorado.
No, because Scott Frost was here in 2018.
First
18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Somebody look it up.
We're going to the browser.
I'm 99% certain Riley lost to Colorado his first year.
Okay, well, I'm 100% certain that he didn't, but
okay.
Yeah.
And then Scott Frost lost in his first year of head coach.
yes, his first game as head coach.
But the previous year was Riley. Riley got beat by Colorado.
2008.
I'm gonna let you look it up.
The games were in 2018.
You do the legwork, man.
The 2018 and 2019.
Yes.
So
Okay.
it would have been Frost.
It was Frost both years?
Yeah.
Damn, okay. All right.
Mike McIntyre was the head coach in 2018
Oh, man.
and got that Colorado team out to a 6-0. Or at one point they won 6 games in a row, including beating in overtime a number 25 ranked Nebraska, and then in 2019 it was Mel Tucker. So that addresses Matt's question. I did a lot of legwork on that.
Good job.
Just for you.
Good job. You proved me wrong.
I wasn't out to prove you wrong. I was just out to prove myself right. Jackie Atterbury says Sanders will fail just like Frosty. And Terrell Farley's Taint says how we feel about Prime is exactly how the rest of the Big Ten felt about Frost.
That's a
I'm
good
going to
point.
disagree with on that. I think we feel about Prime exactly how the rest of the Big Ten feels about Fleck. And I say that because the gist I understand about Fleck is like nobody really likes him, but he's successful enough. And I think that's going to be Prime.
Terrell Farley's Taint also says that Prime could get the entire Georgia roster today and wouldn't win 5 games with them.
All right.
I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? That's the key to this is we're going to find out.
He recruited very well at an HBCU, and he won very well there.
Tony, I'm not going to try to mispronounce your last name, says, I loved Frost. I wish Nebraska kept him for another 10 years. I'm a fan of another team, though. So, Tony, who's your team? That's the question.
Yeah, Tony.
And also, welcome. We're a pretty inviting, friendly, self-deprecating bunch. I know John and Todd, they have a Michigan fan over on their Monday night show. M. Gabowski, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I listen. Screw you. I pay attention. But Tony also does say that Nebraska needs to beat Colorado.
Yeah, we do.
We have a couple of those. Questions. We'll ask this one from Fred first. Bottom line, the 3 Jedi who were on the panel, do we beat Colorado this season? We're a mess, but I still feel more confident about our foundation than theirs. Well, you know my answer. You know my answer, guys.
Patrick.
We should beat Colorado. Like, we really should beat Colorado. I mean, because here's the thing about Dion, his first year, which I don't have much hope from this year, is that, like almost 2/3 of that team's going to be brand new. A good chunk of those guys haven't even touched campus yet.
Right.
Have a handful of weeks to get a team fully ready to go. I don't care. I mean, you could have all 4 or 5 stars. It's going to be tough. These guys haven't played with each other. They haven't played with his coaching staff. It's just tough.
I think we should. I think the same thing. We should beat Colorado because they should still be getting their shit together much more than we will.
Mm-hmm.
I think especially when you look at trying to construct an offense and a defense and the lines and stuff. And I think we have problems with our lines, but I think they have way more than we do.
We got an answer from Tony. Tony is a Gophers fan.
Oh my God.
Is Tony like the pseudonym for your rotten son, John?
Thoughts and prayers, Tony. No, I asked my rotten son if he wanted to come on here and,
heckle you in front of your live studio audience?
Yeah, he's too much of a rotten son.
Mm-hmm. Now, Blaine has a similar question as Fred to the panel. How much importance do you place on the outcome of the Nebraska-Colorado game?
Not as much importance as I place on the outcome of the Minnesota game. And that's because it's a Big Ten West opponent and, where we start. But I will say that it is by the time this game rolls around, Nebraska and Colorado on social media will be at each other's throats so much. People on ESPN and whatever networks show college football won't have to even write any segments. They'll just be pushing out social media anger between these fan bases ahead of time. And it's going to be a huge, PR game. So I think it's important to jumpstart. If you want to jumpstart your program.
Here's nothing. This will be the third game for both teams. Both teams start the year with fairly decent opponents. Nebraska, Minnesota. I'm not going to poo on Minnesota. They're competent. They're competent enough to beat Nebraska. And Colorado starts out, I think, with TCU. So we're going to have a pretty good idea how both these teams are going to be kind of all over. It's not like they're going up against cupcakes before they play each other. So I think fairly quickly we're going to have an idea of which team's going to be better off or if each team's just a dumpster fire. So that'll be nice. So ESPN might just kick us all the way down to we might be relegated to streaming by the time kickoff.
Oh no, they'll show the horrors of this game if both teams are not very good.
No, yeah, we've got. Let's not forget that doggone god awful Minnesota game is on a Thursday night, and then
one of 3 weeknight games.
Yeah, and then the following Saturday, that's August 31st. The following Saturday is Nebraska at Colorado. Nebraska starts with 2 road games. Colorado, as you mentioned, yes, they have TCU on Saturday, at TCU, and then home against Nebraska on the 9th. So, silver lining, it's going to be an extended preparation period for Nebraska to get ready for Colorado. So, got to find those silver linings, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, all that to say, I'll say this. First of all, yes, Nebraska is going to win because, again, 15-0. 16-0 if you include the spring game. And secondly, how much importance do I place on this game? As much as you can against the non-conference opponent that, like John said, we got to take care of our divisional opponents. That's got to be the priority. You win the division, then you can go and play for the championship, the conference championship, and then, if you're good enough, then, maybe the playoffs but we every game's important. It'll be much more important to me on September 1st than it is, up to the Minnesota game, if that makes sense. But I think it's a culture thing, right? It just like, it was going back to the 90s and Nebraska, Miami was always, it was about culture and it was about the right way to do things. and we covered a lot of ground on this last week, John, right? When it's pure Nebraska good.
That.
What's that?
You hate that idea?
We did things the right way. I hate that.
No, come on, Patrick.
We turned the other cheek is what we did.
Well,
Turned a blind eye.
A blind eye maybe have been the
We did a lot of things the right way, but come on, let's not get holier than thou.
We'll do just a little, maybe not holier than thou, but holier than me, and that's okay. So I know, scale of 1 to 10, 7.5. Terrell Farley's Taint says, remember, Frank ended the curse, and we have blonde Herbie, not Herbig, Herbie.
Yeah.
So again, 16-0. Write it down. I said it here first, probably before Adam Carricker did. So, good question here. Have they figured out how to pay Dion? Probably not.
That's a great question.
So, all right. I don't have much more in the realm of football.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead, John. What were you going to say?
Well, I was gonna do your segue for you, but you already. I thought you were.
Well,
I thought you were gonna. Go ahead.
Roger's jumping the gun on us. We did things the right way and don't care about basketball.
Wow.
Come on now, Roger. You can't.
Nebraska cares about basketball just enough to sell out on occasion. That's about it.
That's pretty good.
We have enough fans to sell out. Pinnacle. That's.
Well, since we have one leg of the Bangerings and Daggers podcast, now defunct, here with us, we should talk a little bit about some of the news, the happenings around the men's basketball team in the last few days. Let's start with signing the transfer from in the conference, in the division, and kind of the rival from the Iowa Hawkeyes, Aaron Eulis. Probably didn't pronounce any of that right.
Yeah, Aaron Eulis. Yeah, point guard from Iowa. Played quite a bit. His numbers aren't huge, but Iowa doesn't historically use their point guard very much for scoring. He's more of kind of a field general, like a quarterback type of a thing. So he didn't have a whole lot of numbers for the most part, and Iowa's kind of down a little bit this year. He should be okay here. He should do well. As long as he can run the court, Nebraska will do well, I think, with him. They got a freshman, I can't think of the guy's name, coming into Iowa, and I think he was going to probably unseat him as the point guard. So Nebraska's got a decent point guard coming in for the most part, as far as I can tell. I mean, like, he'll do. I mean, we need somebody to replace Sam. So, and Sam did a very, very. He should be able to. I mean, Sam was a good, solid point guard. I mean, as you know, he didn't make into the All Big Ten teams, but you know, Nebraska struggled, and I've said this a lot over the past decade. Nebraska struggled to get a really just good, solid point guard on the court. I mean, we've had a lot of good players, but not really great point guards, and Sam really filled that role this year. Above and beyond serviceable, good shot, great leader. That's my big thing. Like, he's just great leader on the court. If Aaron coming from Iowa do that, let everybody else, you know, do their thing, score, and, you know, possibly put him in better positions to score himself, you know, it should turn out pretty well with him, I think.
I don't know where I was going with that. Never mind. All right, we got another one. A Nebraska native coming home, and that is I'm probably going to mispronounce this too. Josiah Alec.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, North Star.
6'8".
Mm-hmm.
235 pound. And tell me a little bit about him, because he's got over 1,000 points in his career.
Yeah, good sized guy. Spent first chunk of his career at University of Missouri, Kansas City. Did very well there. That's where all his big numbers come from. Transferred out this last year, or year before, to New Mexico. Historically, a very good team. Mountain West was a fun little conference this past year in basketball. Did very well. Former Nebraska coach, you guys might remember him, Tim Miles, did a very nice run in there himself. But he's coming home. should do very well. I think he should play pretty, right away with his experience, and he's got a good enough size to hold his own in the Big Ten. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing how he's going to do that. And he's got an awesome head of hair.
He does.
Awesome
He
head
does.
of hair.
Makes John jealous.
Beautiful. It's awesome.
No
yeah.
shit. I looked at that and I thought, wow, he has fullness.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Fullness.
He uses Pantene.
Lord. Get him some like Head and Shoulders nil or something like that.
No, he's good. No, they are two solid transfers in. And I think I saw today somebody dropped in the Slack channel that Nebraska is now number 2 in transfers for basketball so far this year. So take that for what it's worth. I mean,
Wilhelm left us.
Yeah, Wilhelm left us today. Big heralded recruit, 4-star out of California. Didn't see a whole lot of play his first year. Last year, had an ankle injury, never really recovered from it. He played quite a bit this year, but it was basically when, as I wrote in my article, Derek Walker got in foul trouble, and then he would come in and himself get in foul trouble. Just didn't quite live up to the hype.
He looked like he was frustrated every time he walked on the court.
Mm-hmm. I think he was still coming through from that recovery. I just don't think he was ever fully recovered. And, a lot of that, can hurt psychologically. He just never looked comfortable out there this last year he did the first year. It felt like his freshman year he was coming along. He still was new and a little raw, but he was coming along. And this last year just felt like he kind of hit a wall and he was trying to push through it a lot. I mean, he did good time. He filled his role this past year, but yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that he's mounted in the portal. So, Nebraska's still got 2 more scholarship spots, unlike the football team, to fill for this next year. So it'd be interesting to see who Fred brings in.
We're going to, real quick, Scott says that like where basketball program is going, we beat Iowa twice, beat Creighton, and I believe one other top 25 team.
Oh, I'm blanking right now. I didn't think I was going to get questions.
This is a live show. They want all of
it's
your...
It's also Corn Nation, man. Come on.
Whoa, hey,
wow.
fella.
Jeez Louise.
Great Scott.
I'm weeping inside.
Creighton's the only one we beat that was ranked at the time.
Terrell Farley says Maryland was ranked.
Were they?
I don't know. The Big Ten was a mess. The Big Ten was a mess this year, so who knows?
I mean, Maryland was ranked at one time, but I don't think they were ranked when we played them.
I mean, we played Purdue well that one time.
No.
Yeah, we almost beat them in overtime. I was at that game. I was angry. I was at the Maryland game too.
All right, so Blaine wants us to change things up a little bit, and then Tony's got a great question that I think we'll probably wrap up on. But Blaine says, Blaine Cole, on a different subject, how's Nebraska track and field? Now, I don't think anybody was expecting that question.
They're good, especially men's. Men's in the top 10. I think women are in the top 25.
Okay, Patrick was expecting that question.
In the nation?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're
doing well.
It'd be nice if we had somebody who would cover track and field.
Yeah, we could probably find somebody. Yeah, I think Nebraska's track and field is heavily weighted on the field events, if I remember right. So, but I remember reading an article a few years ago when what was the track coach's name that was there for like 37 years or whatever? He retired, and I can't think of the guy's name. He was a legend. And they brought a new guy in, and I remember reading the focus of track and field was going to be changing from winning conference championships to winning more national, which, from my understanding, and it makes kind of sense. You go from bringing in players. You go from when you want to win like conference titles, you got to get points. So you got to bring in a lot of athletes who can get those points. Whereas if you shoot for more national titles, you go for more of the individual honors. So you can send more to nationals to get those national, like to compete on that level. So like you could have a very solid rounded team that will win the Big Ten, but like only three athletes will, can make it, very deep into the NCAA championships. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I just screw something up, John? Let me know.
No, you're great. It's the comments.
It's just you read the comments. And
sorry. Okay, all right.
Don't look at the comments. Don't look at the comments, Patrick.
From my understanding, Nebraska is going from trying to win conference titles to doing better at nationals. That's my understanding.
Well, I think that we should try to excel in every sport we have out there. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on board.
Caitlin Clark. All right.
That's a random one.
It is kind of just.
All right. So Tony has this great question. I think Big Red will travel well to Los Angeles. Do you think UCLA will have fans show up when they join the Big Ten?
Show up here? And you mean show up in Lincoln, or what's he mean?
I'm guessing because it was year of our Lord 2012. My wife and I went to watch Nebraska and UCLA play at the Rose Bowl. Centered our whole vacation around it.
I was there too.
Did we ever talked about that?
Probably. Who knows?
I got a bad memory. And left disappointed like all the other Husker fans, but there was a massive turnout of Nebraska fans. To Tony's question, I don't really see there being a lot of LA people who want to bounce up to Lincoln in October, November for a conference game.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be great. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Poly Pavilion in February?
I think what Tony needs to understand is that Nebraska is organized all over the world. Mm-hmm. Nebraska has more alumni group organizations that are outstate Nebraska all over the place. So it's not a matter of I think Big Red will travel well to L.A. There's already shit tons of Nebraskans out in L.A. because the key to Nebraska is everybody
Ryan
graduates
Tweedy.
college. Everybody graduates college and then they leave, and a lot of them go to California.
Wow.
Everybody talks about the Domers, the Notre Dame people that are all over the world, and that's the same is true for Nebraska fans. So you have the Californians for Nebraskans out there have been very organized, and I can't imagine how excited they are to have the University of Nebraska be visiting them on a regular basis, just like I was when we joined the Big Ten, and the teams get to come to Minnesota. So
I think you'll see more basketball fans than you will football. Does that make sense?
That's for
UCLA. UCLA will show up for basketball more so than football.
I don't disagree.
Especially now they're doing well. So
Scott says, I think their fan bases will travel very well. There's a lot of them in Omaha and Lincoln, especially the new tech companies.
There you go.
I didn't know that.
I think the other thing is when you're living in L.A., it's just as easy to go to the airport and get on a frickin' plane than it is to go to a stadium in your own town. I mean, you could go sit on an L.A. freeway for 4 frickin' hours and move 5 miles. So I just, that has to influence their ability to go to games and, really get out and go around and do stuff other than go to the beach. I'd go to the beach.
Speaking of other Pac-12 schools, Roger Moore says Colorado fans can't make it to Boulder. And Scott says that's because they're all at the dispensaries.
Did I go to a game in Boulder? I want to say one time in my life I went to a game in Boulder.
If you did, I hope you forgot it.
I saw
it's
Devo.
A beautiful setting.
I saw Devo in Boulder.
In 1983.
I think it was later than that, but it was Devo in Boulder. Come on.
Did you whip it good?
That was their hit song. They had so many songs.
What venue did you see him in? I'm curious.
Oh God, I have no idea. It was a long time ago. I mean, it was on campus, whatever it was.
Okay.
It wasn't like it wasn't like at Red Rock. I think it was on the Boulder campus in like some kind of auditorium or something.
Okay.
It was a very much fun.
Terrell Farley's Taint says the pee balloons really set the scene.
Do you guys know anybody who got hit with pee there?
No.
I hear the stories, but I don't know anybody.
Yeah. I do know some people that had their cars, brutalized.
Or keyed or something. Yeah.
Nice people there in Boulder. All right, gentlemen. Anything else?
I'm planning to go to Lincoln next week, and we're planning to have get-togethers and tailgating for the baseball series against Penn State. That's what we're doing.
Is that midweek game?
No.
Okay, good.
It's a conference game, so it's on the weekend.
Well, gentlemen, and to everybody watching, I hope that this shirt is no longer applicable this season and moving forward.
What does it say? Oh, you got that shirt. Nice.
I got it.
Saturdays
you
are
know
for
what?
pain and sadness.
Saturdays were for pain and sadness. I'm going to have to just take a duct tape or electrical tape magic marker. That's, I think, all we have for this episode. And I'll say this. We had a comment that summed up a nice fitting way. Maybe needs to be put on a shirt over at cobbycorn.com, and we probably won't pay royalties for it. But Roger Moore says, God, country, corn nation.
I saw that. When I saw that, I thought that is probably needs to be a T-shirt or something. Someday I'll go back to the T-shirt store and start working on it again.
Someday
I was
you
thinking
will.
about that. I haven't seen a whole lot of the Corn Nation shop lately.
No, you haven't.
Cobbycorn.com, and you too can be dressed head to toe in cobby and really be the envy of everyone you know.
Hopefully within the next week you'll see a new Nebraska history video, so there you go.
That'd be nice. If you want to know more about some of the research that John was doing, we're going to send you not to the video itself, but go back and listen to or watch this past Monday night therapy. He was telling Todd about some of the was it the locusts or crickets or grasshoppers or something that were
grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers are locusts.
In 1873.
Did you know that? Did you know that?
Yeah, that's totally. So, all right, that'll do it for this episode of the Five Heart podcast. I'm Greg Mahochko. This guy over here is John Dam Johnston, and I'll never get it right. Patrick Gerhardt, our esteemed colleague, good friend, and a special guest. We appreciate all of you, and we remind each and every week that Five Heart is all the heart you need. John?
Go Big Red.
Patrick?
Dan Falter lives.